Hello everyone, it's me, Demetrius Villa from the High Speed Rail Club. Really been a lot of things back over here, and with the part-time job I've been doing, it's been pretty much every day that I've been working, and I haven't really had the time now to work on things, ironically, with the incoming storm that we have with Irma over here in Florida. Well, ironically, it's given me the time to work on a couple of things now, getting the Japan videos up and running, getting everything all set and all that, so it's going to be finally getting everything out since then. And it was an amazing trip going over to Japan, and the funny thing was I also experienced a typhoon over there, or at least witnessed what was going on when they had Typhoon Noru. So it seems like everybody's having bad weather no matter where you go. It's one of those summers that it's just been crazy, been hectic, and it's been terrible weather everywhere. So one thing I do want to say first, for the people over in Houston and in Texas who have suffered through Hurricane Harvey, that hopefully that everything will get better and that it will recover also too as well. Hello Brian, how you doing? You can see you just commented into there. By the way, everybody, this is live. If you have any want to ask any questions, go ahead and ask them right now so I can be able to answer them right here. If not, it's going to be later on. You can be able to see it and go back into and whatnot. But what happened over in Houston was pretty terrible also as well. It's pretty sad because I actually did go to, on the layovers going over to Japan, I actually did stop at George Bush International, IAH, in Houston. It was a very extravagant airport. It's sad to see that it went underwater, but it seems like everything now is going to do either. Hey Dante, yeah, I remember meeting you over there. I hope everything's alright. I hope you're all boarded up. Yeah, we are in Miami. It seems like now we aren't getting the eye of the storm over here, as they were saying. We were going to get the eye. It was going to come straight into Biscayne Bay, and it was going to really show the world how great our infrastructure system was, because our pipes are unfortunately 30 years behind. Our ocean outfall legislation has been delayed numerous times. So luckily now we are not getting the brunt of the storm. Unfortunately, that means somebody else is getting in. Those are the people in Naples and in the western coast. So hopefully everybody over there is going to be okay and hunkered down. Usually Florida will do alright during these hurricanes, since everything is hurricane proof. The building codes over here aren't like what they have over in the Caribbean or in Texas. Okay, Tampa, Georgia. Okay, yeah, Tampa is probably going to get the brunt of the storm. The good thing now, it's not going to be as powerful as they were saying it was going to be. It was going to be a Category 5 during landfall. It seems like now it's going to be a Category 4, Category 3 going into Tampa. It's pretty similar to what the 1935 Labor Day hurricane, probably the most powerful storm of all time to ever hit Florida. I still think it holds the record. Which completely devastated the Keys and destroyed the overseas railroad that Florida East Coast was holding. So in a kind of similar way, I guess history is sort of repeating itself in that, but not in the same sort of manner. Hopefully everybody in the Keys got out, and of course we know people in the Keys, there's going to be also a couple people that are just staying in, drinking beer, even though Sloppy Joe's is closed and Duval Street is closed, but hey, that's the Keys for you. Over here in Miami, it seems we're not getting the brunt of it right now until later on tomorrow night. Well, it seems it's okay. Hey, Dante's currently in Orlando. Well, Dante, I think you're going to be okay in Orlando by the time it even reaches into there. And Orlando's higher up on the ground. It's about an elevation of about maybe 100, 200 feet in some areas in rolling hills. So you should be okay. I think pretty much the worst of it we're going to get here in Florida is going to be the loss of electricity. So that's why I'm going to hopefully here just get this out and get another video out also too about Japan that we're putting in, and getting that also too out as well. Blessing in disguise for Florida to rebuild the railroad. I think it will probably wake up people to look at the infrastructure of what's going on, because I know our sewer system is pretty terrible down here in South Florida. And I worked with a lot of people who used to work in the South Florida water management district over here, and they said that everything is pretty falling back behind probably 30 years ahead, and by 12 inches rainfall, you're going to have major flooding in some places, which isn't really good for a place that really gets pretty. Florida, which we have the Biscayne Aquifer, mitigates a lot of that. So yes, it does. However, like I just was saying right now, the Biscayne Aquifer that we have takes in a lot of water that comes into the soil. We have a lot of porous soil. We don't have to deal with the experience that New Orleans and Houston have, which you know, being underground, or have a lot of levees. We don't really have that over here in South Florida. There's no levees over here, so usually the water will stay in for maybe a day or two, and then it'll start to you know, sink down into the aquifer, into the Everglades. So Mother Nature is sort of our known natural sewer system over here, and that's over, you know, of course, thousands and thousands of years of Florida being tempered by hurricanes. It's part of the, you know, the natural system, and a lot of the mangroves and a lot of the indigenous plants over here are already used to that. So that's nothing much that we're worried about. Again, after Andrew, a lot of the properties over here became hurricane proof. Everything had to be hurricane proof also too as well. The buildings are made out of, you know, concrete cement, so like this one, that's, you know, it's not gonna break through, or, you know, into this, it's not gonna break. So we're pretty much fine. Big thing if we're gonna get it, just really a lot of the wind and a lot of electricity is gonna go down, like what happened in Wilma, which was the worst hurricane we've gotten after Andrew that we got over here in South Florida. So let's see if hopefully, you know, maybe that's whatever destruction and damage is going to bring, always is going to be a cleanup effort, and that brings in a lot of eyes into South Florida. It's also brought a lot of eyes into Texas, and the rebuilding over there will hopefully, you know, bring the city together, and hopefully over here will bring Florida together also too as well, because this is affecting all of Florida as it affected all of Texas also too as well. What is coming to, let's change the topic over to what's going on with what I did in Japan. Again, the funny thing was that over there they had Typhoon Noru that was going into the southern end of the Japanese islands, which the funny thing was I was able to see the rescue efforts and the evacuation efforts that were going on, and a lot of it was pretty quick, pretty simple. Not, you know, of course Florida here is not as, you know, as quick and streamlined as the evacuation over there in Japan, which, you know, they're different people, different you know, breed over there, but of course they were able to use the trains and Shinkansens to get everybody out safely, and the rebuilding effort was been pretty quick over there. So with that, you know, it was pretty interesting to witness that and see how the whole transportation system, the whole infrastructure system in Japan pretty much meshed itself together. And even with everything that it has, with earthquakes, you know, the volcanic activity, tidal waves, typhoons, everything there is still pretty relatively safe and, you know, easy and ready, accessible. But the trip was fantastic. I did write my experiences also too as well, which you can check out on Medium. I will link it also here below for everybody to see, and in the next video, so you can be able to see and read how the experience was in Japan. And I will be doing, instead of video vlogging over there, I will be taking day-by-day experiences of what happened over there, putting the videos together and explaining how everything works over in Japan, because it is an amazing country, how they've done the infrastructure over there. And it's, you know, it's amazing too to see how they rebuilt back since World War II, which is, you know, the most incredible thing was that in World War II, the worst bombing of all time in human history was the Tokyo fire bombings that we in the U.S. Put onto Tokyo, which was, you know, the worst damage of all time, in, you know, in all of World War II. So yeah, I am trying to make more videos. Connor, I'm just, like I said, coming back and going back into work. It's been tough, especially after graduating, looking for, you know, some better work also to do as well. That allows me to have like a little bit easier free time instead of working mornings, nights, early mornings and everything like that. That's what happens with a part-time job, and there's not really that many jobs over here in South Florida. It's been rated the worst for recent college graduates to work. So, you know, never know if my future will be here in South Florida or somewhere else. So let's see. Again, regardless of the hurricane or not, I may be going somewhere else. I may be staying here in South Florida, or, you know, somewhere completely Rail Museum, so that we'll have a full episode just for the Saitama Rail Museum. So it's going to be crazy. Hi Shortline Productions. I hope everything's all right. Again, everybody, I know a lot of people here who have subscribed are from Florida. Here, you know, as the meme goes, Floridians are the most powerful race in the world. So we should be all right. Hopefully, everybody there on the West Coast, Florida, is all braced up from the Keys all the way up from Monroe County into Naples, St. Petersburg. Hope all of you guys are going to be A-OK, and we'll see what's going to go on from here. Again, we will probably lose electricity. I'm counting on it, so that's why I have the air running super cold in the house to make sure that in case of anything, we don't die and melt in the heat instead of getting flooded in. We're not in Chicago. I guess you're not gonna feel anything here. You're lucky for now until the winter rolls in and you start getting the the blizzards and nor'easters. Everybody has their own things. So watch out in the next 5 minutes. I will be releasing a new video on Japan, so hopefully you guys get able to see it. It's more of like a travel video. It's pretty great. It took a lot of effort to edit into it, so hope you guys will enjoy it. Japan was incredible, Connor. Just explained how it was, and I will be putting more analysis of it also too as well on my saying my experiences. Again, I'm gonna be here for the next 2 minutes or so. I will answer any questions also as well, and before then we will see if what else we're going to be able to do. Betting on the faster train from the loop to O'Hare, but I don't think that will go through. There's a lot of things that aren't really gonna I'm not really familiar with what's going on over there. However, speaking from what's going on over here in Florida when it comes to that's another thing I forgot to mention. For All Aboard Florida, how will this affect All Aboard Florida? It has been delayed, mainly due to a lot of local municipalities pushing back a lot of the track upgrades. Because, of course, when you say we're going to close this crossing for a little while to upgrade it, a lot of the local politicians say, no, let's push that back. We don't want to hamper anything going through here, which, is just hampering just business as usual anyway. So we are going to probably see All Aboard Florida go into revenue service, at least from Fort Lauderdale to West Palm Beach. Hopefully by sometime by the end of this year, maybe in the late fall or early winter. Hopefully, let's see how that goes. For the rest of it, going into Miami, the Miami station isn't done yet. It is in a flood zone, but let's see if it hasn't been completed yet, the station. So if anything, it's not going to really do that much damage, and whatever it is, waiting until the fall. By then, everything is going to be cleaned up over here in South Florida, so that's not really much to worry about. Yes, I did see the plans for the new Penn Station. Let's just see, because there's always been plans and plans and plans to always do something. It's just, are the local municipalities and the companies involved, are they actually going to act upon it, and is it actually going to get through? Again, remember what we saw with the 2nd Avenue subway with the Q line. That took forever to get done. That was in the plan since the 1920s. And the amount of money that took just to build that, just for 2 miles of the 2nd Avenue subway for $4 billion was incredibly out of proportions. I do have to say one thing about Japan, especially in Tokyo, because I spend most of the time in Tokyo. I would say 80%, a big majority of all the lines there, and especially the major lines, are all run by private companies. And everything runs exactly perfectly on time. If the train says it's going to arrive at 13:59, the train arrives at 13:58. So, I mean, it is incredible, the punctuality over there, how the companies work. And it's also the amount of, I would say the areas that they put around the stations and for transit-oriented development is the best I've probably ever seen in my lifetime. It is incredible what they've been able to do over there. They are overhauling the tracks in New York Penn Station. They've been fixing New York Penn Station for the longest of time, especially over since Sandy also too as well. They're still recovering from that in some areas to put into there. But I mean, let's see again. New York is probably the only place in the United States where transportation is working to, I would say, the level closest to Japan, but it's still not even halfway there. It's probably the closest that we can ever get to see a working system in the United States. But again, let's see where the rest of this is going. I do think infrastructure still is having a big impact on what's going on in the United States, and also politically. It is a big thing to work on right now. So let's see with the current administration also too as well. They are pushing again for infrastructure, but again, there's a lot of distractions from everybody, and especially the media also too as well. They really don't care about infrastructure that much. They just really care more about ratings, and we saw that when Trump came out in New York with a new plan for infrastructure, taking down the planning process down from 20 years in some places down to 2 years, and taking out a lot of the planning and a lot of the permitting process also too as well. And all the media wanted to talk about was anything but that. All they wanted to talk about was what happened in Charlottesville, which was a tragedy also too as well. But I mean, we need our infrastructure working before we can start talking about anything like that. If the country doesn't have a spine working when it comes to infrastructure, nothing else is going to work. And that's what I saw in Japan. The whole country, without the infrastructure system, without the train system, will not work. Alright, so I'm going to cut it off over here. It's already a long enough time. If anybody has any more questions, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. I'll be able to answer them. And get ready, because in about 2 minutes... Hi, Sky Rames from Germany. How you doing? I don't know if you guys really deal that much with storms. I don't think so, but yeah, we're getting through a hurricane over here, and hopefully everything will be fine. Again, in the next 2 minutes, you're going to see a new video come out, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.